Welcome to Checkin Accounts, where we freely talk about various topics that interest us. We invite you to sit back and listen, and hopefully you enjoy what we have to say. So, welcome, boys.
Hey guys, how's your
What's
week?
up? What's up? What's up?
Steve's back. He took a
Yeah,
little hiatus
baby.
last episode.
Steve, you left us.
Sorry,
We
guys.
missed you.
Needed a little getaway.
You need a little getaway.
little
You guys are-
Went to
you guys
freaking
are,
Jamaica.
Yeah, baby.
What
a go on, man? Yeah, man.
I'm jealous.
It was so good. Yeah,
Had a
it
good
was
time?
nice. Oh yeah, it was great, guys. Yeah, you know it. Not the first time there, but it's still good to go. It's like my second home, in the Caribbean island.
You know, we always said we were supposed to go, all of us. We
Yes.
never ended up doing, all the boys.
It's still a possibility, guys. Let's not give
Well,
up on that dream.
We got that lotto ticket
Yeah.
tonight, so we're definitely going to be there next week.
You're gonna have 70 million reasons to go.
Let's not count our chickens before they hatch, eh?
Let's please do.
It's good to dream, man.
All right, so let's talk Habs and hockey. So the season ended, yesterday? Yesterday was Thursday?
Yes.
Yeah. So it was a crazy end to the season. The Habs ended up finishing fifth last, which is fantastic.
He's making. I see the guy's so proud.
Well, no, because they finished strong. There was a lot of progression to the team, but we still finished last, which is going to give us another good draft pick in order for next year, to start going to that next level.
The
It's good.
rebuild continues.
Yeah, because the last two games they played Detroit, they went to overtime on both games. They got points, and they looked like they were going to finish bottom six, which is not a big difference. But Arizona ended up winning yesterday, and they ended up going ahead of the Canadiens. So the Canadiens finished with 28, right, Steve?
Yeah,
32,
28 over out of 32, yeah.
But as much as they finished bottom five, they finished the season strong. Like Suzuki had a great year. Safkowski came out of his shell.
Amazing.
Caulfield progressed. Matheson's a stud on defense. We have a
defense is
strong
mental.
first line. Now we gotta build that second line. Last two games of the season, they brought in what's his name there? The American there, the defenseman. Lane Hudson.
Clean, yeah.
The season ended up finishing early. They signed him and they made him play the last
This
two games of the season.
Absolutely.
They've been ranting and raving about this guy for a while, but he could have easily came onto the ice. I watched the two games, and he could have easily, taken it easy and played it safe. The guy, man, he was willing to do his thing, and he's actually freaking talented. There's a lot he's an offensive forward. He's when he's at his peak, he's gonna be our power play specialist. But I was impressed. He got 2 points in 2 games. He was impressive. And then Mayu played the last game. He was impressive too. He
he's
played it more subtle.
Yeah, he's more stay-at-home type of defenseman, but Lane is he's got something
impressed.
going, man.
Is he? Did he get bigger? 'Cause that was the big
No,
word.
he's small.
He's still small.
So small, but
But he took chances on like he was on and he created a chance. Like the last game, he was wiggling and dancing, and then he threw the puck in between two defensemen, and it ended up going to the net. And Slavkovsky tipped it, and he ended up getting his 20th goal. No, he got his 20th goal.
But Lane Heston got an assist.
He got a second assist,
second assist.
and he got 50 points. So Slavkovsky, because he hit 20 goals, he got a bonus of $250,000.
Nice.
he was ecstatic. I was freaking out, but it's good. They hit their milestone. So I'm curious to see what they're gonna do this off season, because they can't do what they've done all these last 2-3 years. They gotta draft a good player, but if the opportunity is right, they gotta get some of their assets on defense, give away a draft pick, and see if they can pick up another big name like they did when they picked up Kirby Dach. Because next year Kirby Dach's gonna come. There's another piece to your second line.
What a team!
And who knows if Dach is so
He's
good?
solid.
They know that he can compete for a first line center. So you have two legitimate players that can play center.
Amazing. So it's discouraging that Kirby didn't get a chance to play this year, but man, this
Starting off
kid,
good, yeah.
guys, you know what? It hurts that big injuries that this poor kid has. But you know what? Once he's
ACL.
back there, and he's still young though. These guys are all super young. That's what's amazing about it. Super young guys. Lane Hudson, I was so amazed. It was amazing. Okay, I was like, okay, he's gonna be good, but this was impressive. How he was hugging the blue line, contouring. He was like, he reminded me of one of the Hughes brothers, like Quinn Hughes or Jack Hughes. Even Jack is obviously offense, but he's a very talented guy. And I think that we're looking like as if, it's going to be impressive. Very impressive team in the next 5 years.
He's not going to be like one of those defensive defensemen. He's
No.
going to be he's going to have a lot of flaws. He's going to be our offensive machine. He's going to be our puck carrying defenseman.
But it's good. It's about time we have an offensive defense.
Flash, he's not a defensive defenseman. He's an offensive defenseman.
I said offensive.
Offensive.
About time. We haven't in a while. When was the last time we had Subban, I guess?
Closest thing to like someone's flashy, somebody that awes the thing is the closest thing. They're two completely different players. Like Nutson is a stud, but and they're built differently. But yeah, I think that the last player that was closest, to the crowd was
Hopefully.
was Subban.
I like having a flashy defenseman. I find once you have a flashy defense, it completes the team. You have a competitive team.
And they had their end of the year conference yesterday, and they announced an extension to St. Louis.
Yeah,
so that's good. That's very good. I'm happy. I think he's a perfect coach for the way they're building the team. I'm happy with the progression.
And he's developing too at the same time. Like just like everybody else on the team. St. Louis is. I think he's going to be the right fit to grow along with them. And he says he's the right words to inspire, of course. He's on the right track.
I'm looking forward to next season, that's for sure. I don't think they're going to make the playoffs again, but I think they're going to start competing. But I'm way, way more intrigued to see what they're going to do this offseason. I'm anxious and I'm curious. I'm hoping they do something good.
Listen, they're
rumors.
2-3 guys that they're missing right now. And like they have so many draft picks that they can get those guys. Truthfully, it's the
Right now we're okay with goalies, but I don't know if those two goalies are going to be what we need when we're ready to compete. But we need at least 2 more pieces front.
Nice.
3, I don't know.
Listen, they got the mind. These guys are the perfect fit.
When we can get rid of some contracts that are like holding us back, like Josh Anderson, Brendan Gallagher's contract's gonna be hard to.
But he played a good season. Truthfully,
I mean, it's the last 10 games were whatever. It's still a bad contract. The only upside to some of these bad contracts is Armia. He kind of turned it around again this year, so let's see if he can continue it next year. But I'm enthusiastic and positive to see where it's going. They're building it the right way. They've never ever made a full rebuild. They've always tried to patch up because of the type of market they are. They always wanted to maintain a competitive team for the fan base, and because they're such a historic team, biggest team and most historic team in hockey. Like the Yankees of hockey, right? But it had to be done. Ever since that Patrick Roy trade, everything went down the drain, and then every other management always made more mistakes and kept digging a hole and digging a hole and digging a hole.
Speaking of Patrick Roy, what's the goalie situation? What do you need a goalie, or we got a good foundation?
Right now, they're evolving. Like ever since they got rid of Allen, I find that Primo, because they're able to play more. Before they were playing with 3 goalies, so you're rotating goalies. And even if you're a backup goalie, you're playing every other night or every other night. Like you're still playing, but with 3 goalies, it's even a longer wait. So you play and then you get cold again. So it's hard to get into that rhythm. So ever since they got rid of the third goalie system, I found Primo like his game changed. Montembeault could continue to be consistent.
Who's your more favorite Montembeau or Primo? Or
Well, right now Montembeau he's number one, but
Yeah.
Primo there's a lot of upside to him still. We still don't know what his upside, where his max
Potential?
is, his potential is. I can see him can still evolving and still. I wouldn't be surprised if he gives more competition to Montembeau next year. At the end of the day, I don't see Montembeau when Montreal is a Stanley Cup contender. I don't see him as a number one. I don't know if Primo could be that guy. He's still young, but we'll see. But that could be anybody could be proven wrong, right? Right now, I
you
don't see
know,
it.
winning the Stanley Cup sometimes it's so weird, kind of thing. You might just get these freak shows of
That's it,
goalie
yeah.
that just get hot at the right time.
You get some guy that's a multiplier, and just
Yeah,
It happened to Bennington. It happened to
guy from Murray, the Penguins.
100% Murray.
Like during the
he went
season,
on a
he
hot
sucks,
streak.
but he's a
Exactly.
playoff goalie, or like I don't know what it is.
you got to get a good goalie. You just can't. Like those days where like you put $10-15 million to your, and then you don't have anybody up front. Like we had Price, could have won with him. He deserved all that money. He's a fantastic goalie, but we built it around him, and we didn't have anybody up front. We built that first line.
Yeah. Imagine having Price now, like when he was healthy.
No,
Yeah.
it would be good to Price right now wouldn't make a difference. They're still rebuilding, right?
But he would have solid goaltending. Imagine having the team now when Price was, what, 4 or 5 years ago? That would
When he
have
was
been
still
That
young.
2014 season, remember? Oh my god.
Before he got hit in the leg by Kreider.
Yeah,
That hurt.
that fucked him.
Yeah.
Well, anyways, long story short, I think speaking of goalies, I think it's a one-off sometimes. You just might get lucky with a goalie. You don't necessarily have to build your team around the goalie anymore.
Listen,
And I think that in general, when you look at goalies, it's especially now that the analytics, what they've evolved to, and they've understood that, having your number one goalie always in nets, always, like the Brodeur days, 70 games, nets. Who does that anymore? Nobody. They understand that you need to pace it, especially for the playoffs. So I think that mixing the rotation, I don't know. I think that's the right choice.
you gotta have a solid goaltender, but you need to be strong on all positions.
But competition as well. It helps to have that competition. You need to have that, little.
What Montreal did was smart. It was because they kept building on a strong defensive core, and they kept adding and adding. And now they have way too many assets on defense. They have a lot of draft picks.
This is a problem they never had. Like too many assets. Like
Yeah, we're
No,
always
they got
lacking.
assets, but
Nah.
they never had a position where they could say, okay, we have assets, and we can give up some assets because we're strong in one position, start using them to build another. They never had that. They were always weak everywhere.
We're also lagging.
Yeah.
We're always lagging. Our good guys.
No, they weren't
so-
developing properly.
Yes,
They
I
were
understand,
drafting
for
and
sure.
not developing properly. That's the problem.
point.
Well,
They were
they
not.
also didn't have the they were stuck with Timmins, right? Like there was always the same guy that was doing the same.
I don't think he was the problem.
not saying that he's a problem, of course, but-
he was good.
Galchenyuk had. Let's want to go through the list of of the old school.
That's what I'm saying. Yeah, he's not a bad player. They just didn't develop him properly. That's not Tim's fault. That's the
Galchenyuk?
system. It's not Tim's fault. He was ranked not only by the Montreal Canadiens but all of
Sure.
a lot of people high. He just wasn't developed properly. Plus,
He played his first season, right? Being drafted. He played in NHL right away.
They played in NHL right away.
Made out, maybe rushed him.
Not only that, his situation was different. Not only did they not develop him properly, but he had his father who was managing him and always tried to make decisions that was better for him and not better for his development.
That guy's
and
a
the
psycho.
team, and,
Forget it.
it messed up his career.
Fucked up on cocaine and he's threatening
was
everybody.
You posted that the video of him in the back seat. Was it you shared
That's
it?
crazy.
Yeah.
Yeah, that was
was
so
pretty
crazy.
impressive.
Yeah, but he's somewhere in Russia now playing and stuff.
Yeah?
Yeah, he's good. He's good. Good for him, man. He threatens
He's
people.
good. He didn't look
He
good.
threatens people to kill people.
threaten the cop.
He threatened cops.
You know who I am? I know he's like saying, you know who I am or something.
I will
I
feed you
just
to the
framed
pigs.
got to his head.
Wow.
That's
Anyway.
all.
NHL is great, guys. You know, but anything else that's on your mind, you guys? What else is you thinking about?
Well, I told you I met up with we had a little test. We had a little test run yesterday. Me and my buddy
Yes.
Ed, kind of a little side project, and so he was talking about this Bill C-16. So there's a Canadian bill they just introduced.
Federal bill.
Federal bill. What did I say?
Canadian bill.
Okay.
Like it
Because
could,
like a lot of times,
could be provincial.
the reason I said that is because a lot of times I talk about American politics.
Okay,
So I just
okay.
wanted to make sure people know I'm talking about Canadian politics. And yeah, so it was introduced by the Trudeau government. And yesterday, it was kind of like.
Well, say what the bill is for people who might not know what it is.
That's what I'm.
So
Well, I'm going to explain why I'm talking about this bill, because he was referring that Trudeau kind of pushed this, is forcing people that you have to use people's pronouns or you can get in trouble or something like that, and taking away your rights and stuff like that. Huh?
Is Trudeau that's imposing this, or?
Well, they did impose it.
Okay.
Well, he imposed something, but there's a lot of bad disinformation or kind of
Misinformation
about, or there's a lot of peddling of trying to control what people can say and stuff like that. And the truth, I did some more research today, and it's really not what people think it is. Especially like Jordan Peterson, like his big thing was about this law. That's how he became huge. He protested this law, saying that infringing on my rights, it's forcing me to call people by other genders that I don't believe in, whatever, or genders I don't believe they are genders. I shouldn't be forced to. And this law really does not do that. So I just wanted to bring it up to light and kind of get your input on it. So the law, really what it was, is just to add gender identity and gender expression into our rights, as if you're ethnically, like stuff like it's against the law to discriminate you for like denial of service or government service, or like rental, like we want to buy a house or rent an apartment. Like these are already laws that exist, first thing, but they just wanted to introduce the gender because
you identify as a certain gender doesn't mean you should be discriminated
from employment,
which makes sense.
From equal wages, or like it's like normal things that we have, right? So you wanted to include that, and people are saying that you're forcing me now, and also it introduced them as I guess another element of hate speech, and they upped the punishment of hate speech. So basically, hate speech is really enforced when you're actually like promoting like to hurt a certain people, or promoting like some sort of genocide to get rid of certain people. So they kind of added that in that protection, that you can't go around telling, let's go take all the LGBT people, drag them in the street and ring them up, and like you're not allowed saying that. There will be retaliation. There will be consequences if you start going down. So it was just really to protect people's
rights. It's just basically
Exactly.
people's rights because they identify differently.
Exactly. So that's basically what it is. It's basically just to protect them, right? But people like Jordan Peterson is saying, so now I can get in trouble if I refuse, if someone's a man or born a man and identifies as a woman. He's spewing that if I refuse to say you're a man, and I call you, I still refer you as a he, I can go to jail. I can do 5 years in prison. It's infringement on my rights. And if you do this, then more like you can't control free speech. And it's completely not that. It is nothing like that. But a lot of these people, conservative and stuff like that, they're pushing it like it is. What it's not is, it's just the government trying to control hate crime or harassment
Or discrimination
against these people. So, in other words, but there is a penalty in the sense that if you work for a company and they refuse in a way to treat you as what you are, a man.
Acknowledge
You as a man, and when you're a woman, and they do it multiple times, yes, that is, you can get in trouble for that. That is called, but it's the same thing as you going to in the office and calling women, hey baby, what's up baby? It's the exact same thing. It's harassment. The person does not want to be called baby. It's the same thing. And people are saying like, but it's just controlling. I'm not allowed to say what I want. But you're not supposed to refer people by their gender anyways.
No.
You know, call them by their name. Like at one point are you gonna go, hey he, hey she? Like at one point do you ever do that, right? It's not normal. It's not normal part of conversation.
It's not normal behavior either, or etiquette.
Usually you call the person by their name. So this thing about, but I can't do, yeah, you can't do that. It's the same thing if, let's say you're Antonio. You want to be referred as Antonio. I'm your boss. I call you Tony. After a while, if I continue calling you Tony and you make it multiple times, let her know that you want to be called Antonio, you can actually file something against me, which is right, because he wants to be identified as Antonio. That's his name. You calling me Tony, it's harassment. Almost not harassment, but it's disrespect. Well, in the end, it's disrespect. But in the eyes of the law, it's just you are being, you're being, harassed, or you're
discriminated.
What's the word?
I get what you're saying.
What's the word? Anyways, so this thing is not really. People are using it as that. People are saying that it's infringing on my right to. It's infringing on my right to what? To call somebody they don't want to be called. To call it's the same. Why was it different than a black person? You call them the N-word. You're not supposed to call them the N-word anyways, right? And it's against the law. So and then they do a stupid example like if a black man all of a sudden wants to be called white. You're supposed to call me white. Like, but who calls you white? Like, yeah, you're infringing my speech now. You're forcing me to say, believe you, because I believe you're black and now you refer as white. But in the end, you would never refer someone as white. You're going to call someone whitey. You're going to call them, hey, whitey. Like, you would never actually do that. You would call them normally. You would just call by name. So there's no really infringement because technically, normal society would never call someone by their race. You were never like, you're not going to go to an Indian guy, hey, hello, I come again. And then, like, it's still a racist thing to do. So it goes under not humanity.
It basically came out with this law just to make sure, because there's more talk and there's more people out there that identify differently than either a man or a female, right? A male or a female. They wanted to make sure that they acknowledge these other pronouns and these other identities.
That's the idea behind it.
They don't get discriminated the same way a man and a woman don't get discriminated.
But the other side are saying that it's an infringement of what they can't and can't say, or they're forced to say. You're forced to call somebody what they're not. They're not forcing you, all right? You don't have to talk to this person. It's you if you're always continuously up their ass. First of all, the lawyer says it's very hard to bring to a criminal case or whatever. But if it's some sort of harassment in the sense you continue doing, if you mess up once in a while and like you can't, there's no law that will get you. But if you do it on purpose to force it, to make it known that you're not respecting the person's thing, it becomes harassment.
It's complicated because somebody could identify as they or where they're both, and you want to make sure you respect that instead of just calling them he or she all the time, when they don't want to be called.
But even if you don't respect it, you never call someone by he or she or they. You don't do that. You call them by their name.
Is it possible though? Not of laws or whatever it is. There is the fact that there is common decency within humans, right? But at the end of the day, like I think that sometimes there's just the fact that people abuse, whether it's left or right spectrum here. That listen, there's people out there. They're just so respectful. They say they'll call you. I'm sorry, sir. I'm sorry, sir. Like, oh, I hurt your feelings, sir. So sorry, sir. But they're being genuine about it. And then there's people who take offense to being called sir. There's people that take offense to being called ma'am. So they're actually being polite. Then they actually get offended by their genuine, and then
you shouldn't overreact when someone makes a mistake.
But there's a lot of people also that
there is people like that.
That there's that small percentage of people. It's like the small percentage of people that abuse the right, not the right, but I mean they antagonize you. Okay, they're gonna antagonize you because they're so fed up of whatever, these laws now that are introduced to have a respect for each other, right? Then there's people that use that law to be, in a sense, just, you know, they abuse the law afterwards, you know. So it's tough. It's a tough situation for some people to be, you know, just accepting these new laws. So,
But I get what Brian was trying to say is that he's just trying to put a perspective on how people are misconceiving the law and like twisting the narrative to make it look like it's something it isn't. Where the government is just basically trying to protect it, and people are you know, you just twist it around to make it look like it's more. Yeah, at the end of the day,
It's just
they're gonna try anything to make government look bad because their views are different than everyone else, right? It's always gonna be like that.
There's a lot of propaganda that I see, like even on Facebook and stuff like that, about like misconstruing what this law actually is, and they're trying to make it seem like it's like a communist country. You can't say this, you can't say that, and it's really not. It's just really trying to protect someone from being harassed. You know, someone can actually bring up case against you. If at work you continue to harass me about my gender, just call me by my name. All right, you don't have to you don't have to joke around by my gender. You don't have to like.
You don't even have to know. It's none of your business. With how they done. It's none of your business. You're there to work.
It is none of your business. It isn't.
Anyways, good point. Good point.
I hear you for sure. You know, I think it's a very sensitive world we're living in right now, and
it's sensitive on both. It's sensitive like on the LGBT. They want to be called this.
Yeah.
But it's sensitive like people feel like I have to go out of my way now to tell someone like they're sensitive to do that, to do something that's it's just the right thing to do in general. It's just respect. You may not believe in it. You may have religious reasons by it.
I agree with that.
But it's not a big thing to just honor someone's
request.
It's
like at work, they ask us to put a pronoun in our signature, but I'm not. I don't do it. Like some of us, my boss goes, they want you to do it, but I'm not obliging. If you want to do it or not, I don't. I'm a ham. I'm a he.
You're a ham.
You identify as a ham, don't you?
Yeah.
First time I hear this.
Like I'm a he, him, he, but why do I have to say it? I don't want.
You don't feel as if it's necessary.
It's necessary. I don't put it. Just put my name and that's it. You know why? Because I have to show that I support the people who wanted that, but I don't have to do it. So I don't.
No, that's
pronoun.
You don't have to do it. Once again, it's.
I think this whole thing is being blown out of proportion.
You don't have to necessarily, participate. You know, because you don't want to. It's fine. It's fine.
It's a free country, and this country is not forcing you to do anything that you don't want to do.
Yeah.
They make it seem like it is, but it's your choice to. Like, you're not going to do any time. You're not going to, if you misgender.
We get to that point, guys.
Yes.
We're really in a communist country.
But there will be consequence if you continuously do it knowing that it's wrong. And that's
called
where
harassment.
And they're calling that's infringing on my right. But if you know someone doesn't like to be caught and you continue, it's the same thing as sexual harassment.
Or bullying.
It's bullying, exactly. It goes there. And that's why they made this law to protect them. It's rights. It's hate. It protects you from hate speech. It's not. I wouldn't consider it a hate speech, but you are
prejudice.
You're doing prejudice to a certain person, and I agree.
Crazy stuff. If you want to talk some politics, this week they're talking about, obviously the budget was crazy, right? But
I heard about it, came up. I don't know like much about it. Like, you want to explain a bit?
I don't know much of the details.
I didn't even look into
I'll just tell you this much, that from what I understand, more taxes, and we're talking for people that are earning an income, as a company, kind of thing. There's more taxes on dividends. There's more taxes on company taxes. So
we gotta make back all
on
the
top
money that we
of
lost
inflation, on top of things are getting out. And
you don't like pay taxes, Steve? Really?
Sorry, but
loved it.
Oh man. Anyways, so I think that taxes is I'm not a tax kind of guy, but the smart people, what they always do, right? They find ways, loopholes, of course. and it's not me and you guys. It's not. We're the schmucks out here. At the end of the day, it's the big people, and they'll find ways to hide their money. But anyways, there's the housing minister pretty much that was that really caught my attention. Okay, the housing minister said
We can drive to Albuquerque in the desert, dig a hole, and put 6 barrels of money in the desert, and we're good. Bad.
yeah, maybe.
Blue bins.
Well,
Blue bins, yeah.
Must be
Oh,
blue
man.
bins.
So the housing minister, this week talked about creating 4 million homes, okay, by 2031.
Like low income homes, like
Housing in general, it could be that it's going to be small homes. I don't know, but the facts, that's what their game plan is. Okay. Do you know what it equals out to? And this is, I have some interesting small statistics that was really funny, if you ask me.
Want to put on screen?
I don't know if I'll get it. Yeah, actually, I kind of lost it for a sec, but here, profile. Anyways, she kind of like broke it down on how many homes it would take to get to 4 million homes by 2031.
Build 4 million homes.
To build, what it would take. I'll give you a couple of here. Just around the corner. Taking a second here. I hope to find it, and I'm not finding it. Anyways, it ended up pretty much equaling to about 1,000 homes per hour at a certain point to build. Or per week, sorry.
That makes sense.
Build 1,000 homes.
A week. And that has to be
Canada?
right across Canada. By province, by the way. By province. Wait, now that I don't have it. I just had it and then it disappeared. Anyway.
By when?
By 2031.
2031.
Get it.
1,000 homes a week. 3D printing these houses?
Well, that's what I'm thinking, like let's
You ever seen these houses 3D printed? Oh, it's...
But even the homes
seen
on,
them?
I still don't fully
Amazon too.
understand the concept of the 3D printing. How would it printed in plastic? What is it?
Plastic, could do metal.
Oh, okay.
Yeah, it's just something that does drops. And then builds prints. Builds it.
Yeah, okay.
I'll show you fast. 3D home. This is the future. Yes.
That's before. Great.
Printer.
Something that's, but while it's pouring, it's building all the walls.
You know how much cement is? Yeah, it's pretty expensive, cement, by the way.
Save on labor and everything. It probably evens out.
Yeah.
It just does that.
Yeah.
Pours layer and layer on top of each other and builds the structure. And then after you put the brick
It's just a machine. I don't know why they have to call it a printer.
Because it's the concept of a 3D printer. Just a machine. What do you think? A printer is just a machine, Tom. It doesn't make any sense.
All right, guys. I finally got my information here. Sorry about that. Yeah, but
Go ahead. Yeah. What are you saying?
long story here. They're saying that 4 million homes divided by 10 provinces would be 400,000 province, right? 400,000 per province by 7 years equals to 57,000 homes per year, right? 57,000 homes per year per province divided by 12 months equals to 4,760 homes per month. And
For you, Steve.
I know, I'm happy about this, of course. If we can get to these levels, guys, I'm going to hire everybody.
How does it work to get these contracts? Yeah, it's like government contracts.
I'm sure it's
you have
not
to bid
too
for
hard.
them, huh?
Well, yes, you have to do
contract
bidder.
have to bid, and then you have to get contract.
I mean, have to muscle
They're
out
gonna
some
find all this land. They're gonna build up.
Yeah, find out where the land is. Buy that land now. Buy up that
Guys,
land now.
I think at the end of the day, we're going to have to parks as homes, pretty much. We're going to be the trailer park boys, baby.
Well, it's not going to be like a trailer park, but yeah, kind of like
170 homes per day. That's what it equals to. every 12 hours. So
Home is
A
built
lot of
every
homes.
12 hours.
every 12 hours, 170 homes. That's what it equals to right now. That's what they need to supply. How are we going to get to 4 million homes? Yeah,
Are they planning on increasing immigration here?
Probably. I'm sure that the immigration is important for this government in general, and
In Canada, yeah.
yeah, well, because we need to
Small
have
population,
taxpayer.
right? Yeah,
And
We need to have
the biggest
taxpayers to
and we have the biggest country.
that's
The biggest
10%
pensions.
livable.
and biggest
10%. Yeah.
so
Not that's livable, but I'm just saying it's a country to live in.
country.
Yeah, it is.
The hard country, and anyways, it's an interesting plan
It's a
to
very
have
interesting fact. Yeah. It's
4 million
Pretty bold
homes.
plan. I hope
The
they
bold
do it,
plan.
man. It's gonna cause a lot of cause. It's gonna create a lot of jobs. It's gonna.
I just think that it's a little out of touch, over promising. You know what I mean?
Yeah.
You know what I mean? Just tone it down, relax there, take it easy, freaking take a chill pill.
Imagine,
Give me a million homes first, and then we'll talk
it'd
about
be
the
funny if
rest.
this guy Poilievre, if he gets elected, shuts down this bold idea. It's such a big contradiction because that's what his job was before. Huh? He was the
Yes.
head of housing.
Brian,
He was the housing
Do
department
you realize
for
that?
Ben Harper.
Do you realize
Brian-
that this guy,
Harper, that's his name, right? No, that's
Yeah,
a singer.
Stephen
Ben
Harper,
Harper.
yeah, Ben Harper,
Ben Harper is the artist.
Exactly.
Ben Harper.
He's actually really good, Ben Harper, though. But and at the end of the day, this guy Polyev has been talking about housing for a very long time. He's been busting the
But
liberals'
I was
balls.
watching something. He did fuck all when he was the head of
But-
housing. He has a terrible track record for his job. He created. I think he built like 4 houses. Honestly, or like 4 complexes.
I don't.
You should.
I don't know. I mean, the price of housing was at a good pricing at the time.
Maybe it wasn't critical back then.
It wasn't critical because
Yeah,
the
good
population
points.
wasn't growing as fast, and we were always in a very slow economy. And liberals definitely inherited a very expansive economy, but at the same time, they're a little bit lost too. I mean, I'd say,
Who's lost? Liberals.
the liberals, I'd say they're a little bit lost. They're if you ask me, they're out of touch. Just keep on taxing. They're just
Really out of
carbon.
touch?
Carbon.
They
carbon-
legalized marijuana and they're out of touch.
That's gonna happen.
That's very in touch of what people wanted. That's in
I
touch
think that
with
would have
people.
happened. I think that would have happened.
No.
I'd be surprised. You'd be surprised. Who knows?
I would have been surprised. You're right.
The reason a lot of people are thinking that way is they're trying to transition from the mess that we had from the pandemic to now getting ourselves out of this mess that we're in, where the economy is throwing all kinds of problems to us.
It's overheating.
So every little thing, they're in the wrong. I don't think they're out of touch. Far from it. I'm not saying every decision they made.
Maybe their
was
priorities are
perfect.
not where like they
Yeah,
align with
yeah.
you. But I wouldn't say they're out of touch.
I wouldn't say they are out of touch.
I think
with
they're
the people.
personally. For me, telling me that there's gonna be 4 million homes by 2031. Bullshitting me, you're shitting me in the face. Okay,
But yeah, it's a bold
Personally.
claim, but it's
it's a bold claim, so don't
not a
say
bad
those
claim.
things.
It's like it's a hopeful claim. You inject some
Yeah,
hope
well-
for people that are suffering from housing, and people like it would definitely help the construction. Isn't the construction slowing down a bit now? Would juice up the construction again? Maybe not for you because you can do renovations, but I'm talking about like new homes and stuff like that. It's kind of slowing down.
I just don't believe that, especially that, they
But
Also,
making a bold statement like that, whether you believe it or not, doesn't classify them as being out of touch.
I feel as if it's like, you're throwing a promise that's, not going to happen. So you're just asking, if you actually reach a certain,
But every government does that when they're trying
course,
to
I agree.
re-elect. Every
Of
government
course.
does that.
yeah, this is what they do to make sure that they
Is it an election
get
year?
rid of-
When's an election year?
Well, they're setting up, like from what I understand, they're setting up right now. They're doing this budget because they know they have to go into
Going into
Election
an
year.
election.
An
year,
election
yeah.
So they gotta give these both promises.
Yeah.
You got to. Huh?
anyway. So and then you got this budget that just came out, which hurts people that are entrepreneurs, and they want to make money and they want to get ahead, and
Why
then
does it hurt entrepreneurs?
because they're going to be taxing them more. They're going to be taxing them more, and
Everybody's being taxed more now.
but the people that are these are the bread and butter people. This is the people that just they're trying to grow and make a name for themselves. They're trying to get to the next level, I'd say, but
Everybody is, not just entrepreneurs.
so
I'm telling you, in the
there's
next,
people out there that
it's gonna
really
get worse
want it.
before it gets better, man. Everybody's gonna start suffering. We see it now. It's not only
It's
entrepreneurs.
still gonna get worse.
The economy's getting better, but everybody's still gonna be suffering. We're still not out of this pandemic shit. We're all suffering because of it. They announced something the other day. The inflation is still up at 12-point-something% or something.
Yeah, it's out of control right now.
It's not controlled yet.
I thought they did though. I thought there was gonna come back down. I guess
It did. But it's still not stabilizing where they can bring it down where they want it, right?
You guys want to talk freaking finance? We're talking about inflation, and inflation right now is so intense that the central banks are not able to hike another time. If they do, they're gonna crack the economy. Right? We're already on the borderline as we speak.
Well, they're maintaining the interest rate.
Canada especially, Canada, we're close to having a recession as we speak. So if and inflation is still happening, interest rates are at 5%. They raise so fast, and now they might have to do it again. They just held it at 5%, but if they raise it again, the Canadian economy is just going to
We're not gonna
tank.
raise it again. I don't think, we'll see. Anything's possible.
How do you kill inflation? Personally, that's the personal question. How does a central banker kill inflation? By interest rates, raising interest rates. If you don't have the balls to raise interest rates and hurt this economy, then you're not going to kill inflation. You're living in a world where
But they also don't want to kill us, right?
well, the United States are in the shits right now because they can't raise interest rates. As if they do, they have so much debt. So do we. Our country is going to be spending more money, I think, on any other budget, just on interest, guys. That's what it costs. Because we have debt. The country has a debt. The United States has a country debt. And just the interest is so expensive that they can't afford other services, guys. That's the thing. So it becomes a very dangerous game.
this is a global problem. It's not just Canada, the United States. Every
So what
country is going
happens?
through this, right?
What happens
What
in
happens
those
when every
situations?
country defaults?
What happens if a country?
Every
If a
country, major countries default. You can't really default because they all owe each other money, so it cancels out the default. So everyone's
Yeah.
good. Everyone's happy.
It's
You know what I'm
a
saying? Like if everyone goes bankrupt, we all each owe you money.
Not everybody
broke.
falls under the same
Same time.
same rules and regulations. You're in
We're-
different countries.
where there's no rule.
No, when you
it
default, you
becomes
default. I mean, when you owe another country money, it's not the internal rule law; it's international law.
It's one thing. It's one thing, Brian, when Argentina does it, but when it's Japan, it's
But I'm
United
saying,
States.
I'm saying that, let's say that most,
Uh-huh.
I guess most that comes from what? It comes from Japan, for like Canadian wise, Japan, China. Who else do they owe money? A lot of money to?
We are like or Canadians or
Yeah,
Canada
Canadians. Who's our biggest debt?
or China.
China.
Probably China, right?
Yeah.
So China goes down
China goes down.
because China's going through. a
China's
rough
trying to
time.
control their situation, but
But they're
they
going
have
through a rough
less
time.
inflation than we do. Okay, by the way, much less inflation. They're actually starting to stabilize as we speak, from what I understand.
No, from what I see, I'm saying I heard it's pretty bad. Like
Yeah, it's bad, but
So,
their
okay,
inflation
let's
rates
say
because they're in a
China's bad,
deflation as we
and they
speak.
default.
Yeah.
And then we default. We still owe China money, even though China, like, you know what I'm trying to say? It's like if everybody gets fucked, then don't all the debts kind of get wiped out. Like, you know what I'm trying to get at? Like,
Yeah, the thing is who loses? It's us. We
it's
lose.
just it becomes a reset.
The small
then.
people.
Doesn't it become kind of a reset?
It's always us. We get poorer. The middle class gets poorer. And without a middle class, guys, well, the economy does not survive. So it's a very dangerous game everybody's playing. And that's why once upon a time there was a gold standard, like where, you can't issue as much money as you want to. It has to be stabilized. It has to be, there's a certain, that's why gold was the historical, currency,
They're thinking of going back to gold.
peg.
But,
Yeah, imagine. Because the price of gold will go to, the price of gold will go to $10,000 to $20,000 an ounce.
To make up for all the
2005. Guys, the most amazing moment right now is in the finance world is definitely the metals. It's amazing. Not even the Bitcoin. Bitcoin is actually going low right now. Meanwhile, gold is. Hey, you want some wine here, guys? Gold has been just. It's sniffing out. You want to try some?
Give me a glass for.
So it's a touch warm now, but it's a very nice wine. It's Grenache and Sauvignon Blanc. Yeah, sniffing out all this mess, and bonds are going down because interest rates are going up. Gold is going up. Normally, like you'd expect, that gold would go down, but now it's just like it's sniffing out the market, and it's calling bullshit. It's saying that the central banks are really squeezed, and there will be a time. It's telling us that there will be a time where the global monetary will reset, and I've been waiting for this day for a very long time.
You say reset is like what I was saying, like everyone defaults, everyone
possibly a default somewhere. Possibly a default. And if that happens, how do you devalue? Because that's the thing, right? The United States, they're the perfect candidate. Just devalue. Because they're the ones that are going to say, you know what, we have 100, I don't know how many trillions now they have.
30 almost.
Exactly. So I have 35 trillion soon. And in the past 2 or 3 years, they've doubled their debt. Okay,
it's amazing. A lot of times the Congress, when they get together, just, okay, guys, we raise the debt ceiling. Yeah, let's do it.
Let's do it. They're out of control. The spending is out of control. Oh shit!
Oh.
Call paramedic, guys.
Went down wrong.
Went down the wrong hole.
Good thing I put the spit guard.
You too, take it easy.
It's the fucking wine.
I know, it's a bit of touch warm, but it's nice. Anyways. So, what's that?
I just got a crazy text message.
Need a minute? You're all right? So, anyways. I've been waiting for this moment for a while. Just tell you that way. I know that been trying to, but you can help people as much as possible, but all you need is a little touch. Precious metals in your portfolio. Okay?
A little touch.
A little touch. They say that 10%, just a little tip. And it makes a difference, guys. It's not about the size that counts, guys. It's not the size that counts, baby.
It's the purity. It's not the size.
If it's
not the size of nuggets.
If it's hard, all right, and it's the real deal, you got it.
All right,
you can handle it, though. Anyways, but it's an interesting time.
Was it or?
So yeah, bro, man, it's an interesting time in the world, and hey, man, P Diddy. Let's talk about P Diddy. Hey,
honestly, I don't know exactly all the details.
This
but
guy
I know it's fucked. It's like more people slowly corroborating the story.
It's Epstein, the rap world, man.
Yeah, that's what.
Holy cow, this guy is.
But it's like from a long time, or it's like a recent thing he's been doing it, or it's like. He's been doing it for since the 90s or like
I don't know exactly, probably the 90s. And he used to do these I don't know, funk parties, they I don't know what he calls it. It was so cool. They used to tape people, either the drugs or doing I don't know what. they could be having sex with gigolos, really incriminating stuff.
And they would use it against them, like blackmail them. I don't know.
He has it against them. They know that he's got one up on him. Just see Justin Bieber, like
that's what I'm hearing. Like, did he do anything with Justin Bieber? Like,
yeah, from when I like all these videos now that I'm.
Or is it just like this information? It's just people taking the story out of control?
Dude, okay, I saw a video, which is, I don't know if you want to put it on, but it's actually pretty crazy, where he's tapping down Justin Bieber, like as if he has like a wire on him, okay? He just wants to double check if P. Diddy is like checking if Justin Bieber has a wire. Check this out. Here, this? And look at this. Touching it. Good. Yeah.
Think that's what it is? Yeah, I think he's just being very affectionate. I don't know. Doesn't convince me about the wire check.
I'm not
Doesn't
saying.
convince me.
But
It's a weak argument.
I've been. I was watching some funny videos. I mean, like funny. It's the beef between P. Diddy and
50 Cent. Yeah.
Oh my gosh. Like 50 Cent's always been like
You never liked him, huh? They always had like beef or something.
There's something else. All his songs just embarrassing P. Diddy.
I saw one video that was interesting that popped up was when he was sitting with Mike Tyson, Arsenio Hall. Have you seen this?
No.
Mike Tyson, Mike Tyson's here. P. Diddy's there. Arsenio Hall. Remember how the setup show was? And then Tyson gets up. He goes like this. He takes his hand, gives back the hand to P. Diddy. He's like, I don't know. I'm about to knock him right now.
Shit.
Yeah, it was like a very weird thing. And then they cut to a commercial right away.
Yeah.
Like this.
Arsenio.
Oh, it's not Arsenio. I think it was. I don't know. Okay, I thought it was Arsenio Hall. It's not Arsenio Hall, I guess. Again, I want to see the whole interview.
Oh, it's Ivory Waynes. Okay.
Yeah. So I called it wrong.
FOI.
Guess is like the whole interview. Yeah, this part. Yeah, right there.
Buddy, I'm about to freaking bust your nut over it.
Yeah, look. I'm about to really punch him. Look. It's like uncomfortable where his hand was. Did you hear what he said? I'm truly about to punch him.
Oh, I heard it. It's truly about the Benjamins.
See, like how...
Yeah. Look, he's uncomfortable. Mike's like, he puts his back towards the camera, which is... And
look how his face is, because because he felt embarrassed. So, I misheard him. I heard I'm about to punch him, but I guess he's saying about the Benjamins. He said it was a very awkward moment. Like, he took his hand, he had to move out of the way. He was probably like tickling his butt. He's probably tickling his asshole or something.
Oh. I think P. Diddy is gay. I think P. Diddy might be gay.
I'm not saying he's tickling. I'm exaggerating the tickle. Yeah, look, it's the most watched. You ever watch this graph? When you go over the timeline?
Oh, yeah.
It shows the most watched. And
yeah.
You're telling me this guy was not touching him inappropriately? For Mike Tyson not to be comfortable? Yeah. Look, he's even looking down. He's looking at his hand. Look. That's a discomfort over there. That's not comfortable.
Weird. Isn't that weird?
Like, he didn't even take out his hand. And looked. He moved like he didn't know it. Like,
oh, man. Yeah, Mike Tyson, man. You would have knocked him, no problem. Those beautiful teeth over there.
Okay.
Those teeth would have been...
You would buy new ones the next week.
Exactly. This guy, P. Diddy, man. He made a lot of money, man.
Oh, yeah.
Hey, did you see that he there was that big settlement within 48 hours? One of his girlfriends that, like, she accused him of...
Is this the same one that started all this?
I think so, yeah. Within 48 hours, eh? He was paid off $30 million. How?
Now they're still in investigations. Doesn't stop that now.
This guy, he's so going to jail. He's going to jail big time.
And go with R. Kelly. Join R. Kelly.
He's going to go meet up. Big meet up.
Go with R. Kelly. R. Kelly committed murder,
man. He
No,
kidnapped like
man.
young
Oh, yeah,
girls.
kidnap, yeah,
and,
yeah,
He was doing sexual sex
yeah,
Yeah.
he was a sexual
Underage.
underage girls. Yeah,
stuff.
piss on them.
Sorry,
I'm gonna piss on
I'm
you.
gonna pee on you.
Again.
fame. They think that they're untouchable because they're famous. Do whatever the hell they want.
Well, I don't know, man. When you get that successful, I guess you go a little crazy. If I don't know, like you feel like you're godlike, and everyone's like your play toy. Like I see it in the Trump and the Epstein's and the fucking all these guys that are loaded and they have the the McAfee, John
Oh, yeah.
McAfee.
John McAfee.
They all get into this crazy like sexual stuff because at one point you're just like you think you're God. You're
What's
a
the
billionaire.
next?
You think you're God, and everyone's like expendable. Everyone's your toy, and I can see that like narcissist, whatever you call complex. When you get that powerful, you think you're like better than everyone. You think
John McAfee said that he was gonna, if I die, killed me. I didn't commit suicide.
Yeah. That's what every paranoid psycho says.
Whatever.
That's what every bipolar person says. Fuck.
Oh my gosh, that's
Anyways.
interesting.
Guys, I think that's it for the episode. If you're still interested, if you're still listening at this point, we thank you. Glad you enjoyed our conversation. Welcome you to come back to our next episode. Till next time.
Wait,
Ciao.
put some comments and if you have any feedback, whether it's positive or negative, to help us out. Subscribe.